Hello, today is Saturday, November the 16th, and I am in Las Vegas waiting for the Miss Universe pageant, which will be airing later this evening. And here's the funny thing, I don't watch the Miss Universe pageant. I think the last time that I actually watched this, I would have probably been a child, probably about maybe 13 years old. And the main reason being, of course, there are only 3 or 4 channels and not much on the other channels. And by the time I got into high school, of course, cable came around and there was a lot of variety. So to put it bluntly, I don't really follow the Miss Universe pageant. However, this year is an exception because I just happen to have met and know the parents of one of the contestants, as well as the contestant herself. And of course, I'm talking about Chelsea Manalo, who is Miss Philippines, who will be competing. And I met her because at the time I had a domestic relationship with her great aunt, whose name was Virginia. And when we went there, I believe that was in 2016, I met her and her family, and totally unaware that Miss Philippines was something that was going to be happening in the future, except she did have a pretty impressive Instagram following, about 100,000. And when I mentioned this to some of my other friends whom I met in the Philippines, they kind of just like went, just kind of blew it off. I guess having 100,000 fans on your Instagram isn't a big deal to some people, but you know, I was definitely very impressed by that. And when we got back to Las Vegas, and I had put in a Amazon stick where we were able to watch YouTube on TV. Suddenly Virginia wanted to see some of the minor Miss Universe pageants or contestants they had that Chelsea was participating in at the time. So we used to watch those over and over and over again. Unfortunately, Virginia passed away in the Philippines. I went to the Philippines to see her in the last days, as well as sadly to attend her funeral. And of course I met Chelsea then too, and I mentioned to her that during that time period when we came back, you know, she just couldn't get enough of watching those YouTube videos of Chelsea. So a couple of years later, again, we're going about this year, 2024, I was in Tacloban City in the Philippines, and the news was on, and the news announced that Chelsea Manalo was now Miss Philippines, and I was like, what? Are you serious? Because I didn't take any of that seriously. But of course she is not just Miss Philippines, but attracted a little bit of news and controversy because she was the first black Miss Philippines. And I did notice that there were some negative YouTubes that came out that criticized her because people said she was the first Miss Philippines of color. And of course, compared to the United States, you know, of course everybody in the Philippines would be of color, but I just thought that was such a picky, petty point. And also because her father was from Nevada as well. It's my understanding that he was from Reno. I'm not really quite sure about that, but he has passed away since then. But in any event, because her father was American, that maybe she shouldn't have been nominated. But then suddenly there was a new list of rules that were posted just recently that the only thing that mattered was where the contestant was born in, what country the contestant was born in. So if she was born in the Philippines, she would be eligible. And then there's another rule that I thought was kind of odd. It said they have to be a natural woman, a natural born woman. Where did that come from? Are you trying to be like America? What is that? That's the kind of crap that would run into in America. What is a natural woman? Are we talking about as opposed to a cyborg? I don't get it. The doctor make an error and decide that, oh, that's a male and that's really a female, and corrected it, and suddenly, what are we? You know, if you're not going to allow transgendered people in the contest, just say it. If that's what the rule was. But of course, I believe there is a transgendered person who may be representing one of the countries. I really don't care. That's not really a big deal. Because to me, what Chelsea represented, and based on what I'm reading on web pages, and there was even an article in the Las Vegas Asian Journal about Chelsea, what her win signified was a new openness. And one thing she's doing is she's advocating for indigenous people. Another interesting side bit, though, is you know who used to own the Miss Universe pageant? Donald Trump. And of course, he no longer owns the Miss Universe pageant anymore. And what got me about some of the criticisms regarding Chelsea was they seem very similar to some of the criticism that Kamala Harris received when she was running for president here in the United States, where for whatever reason Trump will say, oh, she's not black, or she's black, she's Indian. Bill Maher said the same thing, and I just thought, what's all this racist crap doing? You know. So it sounds like Chelsea went through the same things as Kamala Harris. But, you know, the one thing that we can all breathe a sigh of relief for is at least Trump doesn't own Miss Universe anymore. So I think that Chelsea and the other contestants down there in Mexico City should be relatively safe. And of course, I'll be watching on bated breath to see who eventually walks away with the title of Miss Universe. So good luck to Chelsea, and may the best Miss Universe win.